First at 4, we're following a developing story in St. Genevieve, Missouri. A shooting this morning in the middle of town sent 2 people and the shooter to the hospital. Thanks for being here at 4. I'm Kay Quinn. Brent Solomon has the day off. Tonight, police tell us both the shooter and one of the victims are in critical condition. Diamond Palmer has been following the story all day for us. She joins us now in studio after spending the day in St. Genevieve. Diamond?
Okay, St. Genevieve police tell me they believe this to be a domestic violence situation. Police say there are 3 victims believed to be in their 30s to 40s. They were all living together at the time of this shooting. Right now, their investigation has not revealed what happened before the shooting. Police say at 10 a.m. this morning in the 400 block of Market Street in St. Genevieve, a male suspect shot 2 victims, including a man and his wife, inside of a home. The victim's aunt was on the scene shortly after the shooting, and she confirmed to me her nephew, Jeremy Dickerson, was best friends with the suspect, and they had lived together for nearly a decade. Dickerson was shot in the chest and hand, listed in critical condition, and his wife was shot in the leg in serious but stable condition. Police say the suspect is in custody and has a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
Officers arrived on the scene. We found 3 victims, 2 critical condition, 1 in serious condition, and officers were able to get the shooter in custody within a short time of being on scene.
I don't understand what went wrong. All we know is we got a call and said that 3 people got shot in the house. But we didn't know I didn't know it was this bad until I got here.
St. Genevieve's police chief says his department is also working with their sheriff's office and will plan to release more information on this evening or this weekend. The Missouri State Highway Patrol is helping process the scene.
All right, thank you, Diamond. 3 men are in jail, charged in connection with a disturbing story out of Defiance. They're accused of abusing a 20-year-old college student from India. The young man was rescued Wednesday after police received a tip. All 3 of the accused pleaded not guilty. They were denied any change to their bond until December 7th. That's when they have a 7-day bond hearing. The Missouri Human Trafficking Task Force is assisting with the investigation. 5 on your side's Justina Coronel will have more on how that task force is helping the victim. She'll also have more from an organization that helps educate the public on human trafficking. That's all coming up tonight on 5 on your side at 5 and 6. The suspect in a deadly shooting in Clayton was back in court today. Lawyers for Trinell Johnson asked for a bond reduction. That request was denied. Johnson faces second-degree murder charges for a shooting that led to the death of Joshua Harris. Police say Harris was confronting suspects trying to break into his wife's car when he was shot. It's the first homicide case in Clayton in nearly 2 decades. Right now, Senator Josh Hawley is calling on Congress to reauthorize an act that would provide compensation for radiation contamination victims in our area. The House and Senate could huddle in conference this week to decide what stays in that final military spending bill. The Missouri senator is threatening to use every tool at his disposal to hold it up if it doesn't include compensation for the victims of radiation. All right, let's take a live look at downtown St. Louis. Clouds hanging tough after several hours of rain overnight. Don't expect to see too much sun this weekend. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell here with your Weather First forecast.
Yeah, the sunshine's going to be a bit limited here as we head into this weekend. Some of us saw at times today a couple of peaks of sunshine, but for the most part, the clouds have been ruling the roost today. We're looking out into St. Charles right now. Gray skies, still a few spritzes and sprinkles in the area. Some patches of light rain too. Just enough to get the roads a little damp here as we head towards the evening rush hour. But there's not a whole lot on the radar screen right now. There's traffic as it goes through that Zumbel construction zone along 70. Here's your radar. This is coming out of the airport. This is actually the terminal Doppler radar, so it doesn't go as far out. Weather Service radar out in Weldon Spring down for a little maintenance this afternoon. You can see off to the east through parts of St. Clair and Madison County. That's where the heaviest little band of showers, if you will, is. We're starting to wrap around the cooler air now, and in that cooler air farther to our north and west, we do find some snowflakes. We will not be concerned about that heading into tonight. We may see a little bit of patchy fog developing, but otherwise it's mostly cloudy overnight tonight. There's a rain chance this weekend. It's mainly Saturday night, and it looks like the daytime hours on Saturday and Sunday will feature some sunshine, but that sunshine definitely limited, especially on Sunday. Okay?
All right, thank you, Scott. Sandra Day OConnor has died at 93. She was the first woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. Appointed in the early 1980s, she played a key role in some controversial and historic cases, including voting to stop the 2000 Florida recount following the presidential election. A trailblazer for women, O'Connor retired in 2006 at the age of 75 after 24 years on the high court. Israel ended its truce with Hamas over claims the militant group didn't live up to the ceasefire requirements. Airstrikes are hitting Gaza once again as more details about a Hamas plan for attack are being revealed. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
Bombs and bloodshed in the Gaza Strip again today. Israel resuming airstrikes after blaming Hamas for breaking a week-long truce by launching rockets into southern Israel. Humanitarian groups warning of the immediate impact in Gaza.
We cannot see more children with the wounds of war, with the burns, with the shrapnel littering their body.
Many of Israel's strikes now focused in southern Gaza, where Israeli officials told civilians to take refuge from fierce fighting in the north. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Israel agreed to designate safe zones in the south.
I made clear that after the pause, it was imperative that Israel put in place clear protections for civilians.
Qatar has been mediating negotiations and says talks are ongoing for a second truce as families of hostages still in captivity plead for help.
That means that every day, including today, including right now when we're talking, my cousin's life is in danger.
And now fresh questions over whether the devastation could have been prevented. The New York Times reporting that Israeli officials learned Hamas was planning a major assault more than a year ago, but dismissed the detailed battle plan as aspirational and beyond Hamas capabilities. NBC News has not seen the report firsthand. The Times reporting it's unclear if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu or other senior leaders saw it in advance. Netanyahu has denied any forewarning.
It's clear that there was a failure, and we have to find out exactly what happened.
Israeli officials promising a full review when the war is over. For now, no end in sight. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
5 on Your Side spoke with Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt this week about developments in the war. Here's what he said when asked about the U.S. discussing a two-state solution with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
I mean, you clearly have Hamas is dedicated to wiping Israel off the map. And so I think that they're dealing with that. You've got underground tunnels that they're trying to dismantle. They're, again, fighting for their very survival. So I don't think it's up to us to tell them how to go do that.
You can watch our full interview with Senator Schmitt on this week's episode of The Record with Mark Maxwell. Tune in Sunday night after Sports Plus. And you can see full episodes and keep up with the latest political headlines by texting the word record to 314-435-5355. Days ago, a major employer in the Metro East announced layoffs. Now, U.S. Steel is the subject of a state investigation.